Chapter 2, A Life Well Lived. Beloved one, let us speak now about what is reality. How do I live in my reality? How do I live a life that affects others in healing ways? How do I live a life well lived? You have had an example of that very recently with one of your well-known companions, John McCain, who truly lived a life well lived. He came with a mission, if you will, two missions in truth. One to share with all who had the eyes to see and the ears to hear the mission of healing, and also for himself to relive a lifetime, which he has done several other times, but to come this time, in this lifetime, and not carry the scars of terror, not to bring those scars into later life, to heal them, and to be able to go on in empathy with all brothers and sisters, and to understand that everyone, no matter what it looks like, is fighting his or her own battles to come to the place of realization of the divinity of themselves. So you have had one who has recently come and made his mark upon this time, this reality, lowercase r. He knew before incarnation, as the soul that he is, that he was going to be a teacher, a healer, but he did not know exactly how it was all going to play out. Emphasis on the word play. Truly, all of you, all of us, have agreed to a mission before each incarnation, but how that works out is left up to certain decisions that you make as you go along. Now, you have accepted a mission, and you are carrying it out to your best understanding of what your mission is. This now is part of that mission. This now is a time of awakening and claiming that which you desire to be, to know, and to example to others. In this now you are saying yes to your reality, capital R. You're saying, yes, it is my divinity, my divine energy, divine self, which is allowing me to live a life that looks like it is just a human life, and yet what you do and how you do it heals yourself and others by choices which you make. I have been observing as you have been going through what is termed your lifetime, and I see you choosing for love. Sometimes you are in circumstances where it is a bit difficult to be loving, to be in a healing place, to offer healing to others. Whether they accept it or not is not your responsibility, but to offer it, to offer love everywhere you go, and to have the smile upon the face that says to another one, I understand you. I love that which you are. Before you took incarnation in this lifetime, you agreed with the soul group, because always before you come, there is what you call a conference, which is held, and the broad picture is put in front of you. Then it is up to you, as the small one in arms, and as you grow, to figure out how you want to do this. It is okay if you try different things. Sometimes it works. Actually, always it works. But sometimes it is more obvious than other times. If it does not work as you had hoped, observe and notice how you act and react to what happens around you and within you. You are a healer in the very extended form of healing. You are a master who has chosen to come at this time, which is not the easiest time of a reality. But you have said, my brothers and sisters, the other sparks of divinity, need me, and I want them. I want to know my oneness with them. So you have chosen a path. Sometimes it is smooth. Sometimes it has a few twists and turns in it. Sometimes it gives you pause to think, evaluate, and wonder, why have I chosen this path? Yes, I know there have been many times when you have wondered, what is this all about, and why am I here? Why am I still here? Well, if you are still activating a body, it is because you have not completed what you said you would do, or you have chosen, for the fun of it, to play some more. This happens every once in a while when ones finish their mission and then ask, can I have a few more days, weeks, hours, and perhaps years to play? Because, I don't think I had much time to really enjoy. I was too busy working. So yes, of course, as you ask, it is granted. It has to be, because for the Holy Child, the divine spark, whatever you choose is what you will receive. Nothing can be held back from you. So if you are looking for healing, if you are looking for a certain feeling of satisfaction, if you are looking for an answer to a lifelong question, or perhaps more than one lifetime, it is granted to you to have time as you measure process. It is granted to you to have that time. You have friends who have had a certain verdict given to them that the body is finishing, that it will be a certain number of weeks, months, or maybe even years, and then the body is going to do its thing. But nothing is ever decided ahead of time that cannot be changed. Some of you know that because you have experienced it. You are activating a very busy time in your life now. Time, yes, is speeding up. Time, yes, is shortening itself. Your process of time. You feel like, I'm running out of time. And you are, because time is a construct that you have made for yourself, believing in process. Process that has a beginning, middle, and end. You are finding that instead of having the longer days that you used to experience when you were very much in tune with the land, now everything is coming very quickly, and hopefully not running into itself, although that does happen from time to time, and you feel a squeezing, which does not always feel good. Trying to get everything done in a certain time frame is a squeeze. Looking for the gifts as you go along, you have certain feelings of judgment. In the beginning, that's okay. Do not judge yourself. Just say, oh well, that's how I was feeling at that moment. Now I choose anew. And go on from there. You have chosen this lifetime. You have chosen all of the circumstances as you go along. It is not preordained that you are going to meet up with someone at a certain time and a certain date, except as you approach that time and the circumstances seem to fall into place. But it is not that it has to happen. It is that you choose for it to happen. So be happy with what you choose. Know that there is always a gift in everything, and allow yourself to be easy with yourself. I watch you, and I see your energy as you are judging yourself from time to time. Whenever you get into that mode of judging self, usually you come out feeling a bit battered. So give judgment over to me. Let me judge whether what you have said, what you have done, where you have gone, has been the right and best thing. First of all, I see a larger picture. But second of all, I always judge with love. So nothing, in truth, capital T, is wrong with any choice you make. And you may make a choice that, in this reality, This world, as you call it, may bring you certain effects that you do not want to deal with. But if you do, and you have to deal with the effects, you come out of it much wiser. You say, well, I tried that. I won't do that again. I have heard you say that a few times. What you will want to do, and you are doing this, is to choose for love. Choose for the positive. Choose to be happy as often as you remember. You will come to a place where you know that you are complete, and you will look upon it and say, this has been a life well lived. So, what do you have to give? Love, joy, excitement, being together with someone, allowing that which you have learned to be shared with another, to the place where they come alive and say, yes, that's just what I was thinking. That's just exactly where I was in my thinking. Isn't it amazing that we think alike? And at that point, you probably will agree it is amazing. I found someone who thinks like I do, and I thought I was the only one on the planet who thinks like I do. And sometimes, individualized as you think you are the only one on the planet in that moment thinking that way. You have given to yourself a gift of the reality, lowercase r, to activate a body, to be able to speak with the tones. And if you don't have the tones, you have worked out sign language that ones can learn. You are never at a place where you cannot express. Now, what do you express? What do you push out? Express. Sometimes judgment, a lot of times judgment. And usually that judgment, even if you think it is going out, does a U-turn and comes back. You find yourself judging self, and that does not feel good. You have an example of that in one of your leaders at this point who is feeling unwhole, not whole, to the place where what he sees, he feels as a judgment, and then he has to put up a barricade. You all do this, so it is not just this one. You put up a barricade so that the small self of you will not be hurt. Not one of you likes to be hurt, and sometimes that which you have chosen to allow you to grow in your own love of self, capital S, sometimes is not understood to be a gift, and sometimes it is taken as a harsh judgment. In truth, the ones who are molding and shaping your early years want the best for you, and yet they do not know always exactly how to show this. There are many stories told of new parents who come home with the small one, and then they look at each other and say, now what do we do? Almost all new parents feel that way. Even if they have taken classes that supposedly instruct them, they find that they have an individual that does not really fit all of the descriptions of what they are supposed to do or be, and say, now what do we do? Now the small ones have come to you as gifts. They have come to you to bring out your best. And they do. They bring out your best. Sometimes it does not look like the best at first, but in truth, you are doing the best you can, and you know how, that you have been taught, that you have learned from the older generation, perhaps. So you are doing as well as you know how to do. And yes, the small ones will push your buttons, but that is what they have come to do. And sometimes they do it really well. But smile, and you love them, and you go on, and you see how creative they can be. It is the same with the four-footed ones. If they do not get your attention in one way, they will try in another way until you do pay attention to them. And maybe you figure out what they want. Then maybe you say yes, and maybe you say no, and then the whole cycle starts over again. You bring the small ones and the four-footed ones into your experience because you want to know, what can I create? How can I create? And why sometimes do I create what seems to be the challenge? It is to allow you to see, first of all, how creative you are. Good heavens, I created that? Oh yes. Enjoy your creations. Enjoy all of your experiences. The one who has been so honored in this recent time, McCain, had experiences that you would not necessarily choose voluntarily. And he did feel at times that he did not choose those experiences. And yet there was a spirit alive within him that knew this is all for a purpose. I don't know the purpose, and yet there was a knowing that something larger was indeed happening. If you can approach, and you can, any seeming challenge, and know that what you are seeing is only part of the picture, which is truly larger, more far-reaching than what you see at the moment, it allows you to take a deep breath and say, okay, maybe I don't like what's going on right now. Maybe I would like it to be different. But there has to be a good reason for this. There has to be a gift in it. And even if I should allow the body to be finished, I will look upon what has happened and realize in my awareness that it was a gift. Then you come through every challenge, knowing that truly the picture is bigger than what you see at the moment. And this is what your friend did in the 5.5 years he felt himself to be detained and restricted. He knew at a very deep level that there was something happening which was larger than himself. He did not know that he was going to come through all of it and live the number of years with the body that he did. There were moments in the time that he was in that experience when he thought he was going to be finished. But he awoke the next morning, and the body was still with him, activated one more day, and one more day, trusting at a very deep level that there was purpose. And there was. It was not easy. But as you have found out, no human life is, in human terms, easy. Every human life has its challenges. And yet, at the same time, you recognize that you are creating. I knew this. I experienced this more than once. I had more than one human lifetime because I wanted to know more. So I had lifetimes as a simple peasant, a farmer, the one who was in tune with the rising sun and the time of the moon. And that was all I needed. That and the little four-footed ones, the woolly ones, the sheep. I had several lifetimes that, as you would judge it from a human standpoint, were very peaceful, very much in tune with the energy of Holy Mother Earth. I had lifetimes before we came to the one that is so famous. This is not in your holy writings, not the writings which are so popular, so accepted. The other lifetimes are written in some other works, and I did not always go with the name Jeshua. I had other names as well, as you have had. So I knew and know human life. Now, just to tickle the curiosity a bit, I had other lifetimes not on this Holy Mother Earth, out there in what you term now the spaceships. I worked as one who had something to do with the energy of the spaceship. And one lifetime, I was commander. In another lifetime, I experienced myself as living liquid crystal, free-forming, free-flowing crystal. So you see, it does not have to be human form. It does not have to be on Holy Mother Earth. It could be in another solar system far, far away. Each beautiful expression of the divine is very much like the facets on a gemstone, on your diamond. When you put all that together, how brilliant it is! The light within and outside of it is beautiful. One lifetime you say, "Oh, this is what I am this lifetime. Ah, this is so great. I am leader of all of my people." Then, if they do not like what you are doing, and there is heavy judgment, you change to being one who takes care of the sheep and goats, and take a bit of time out to recognize the spirit of you, which activates every experience. Now we come to a most interesting point. In this day and time, time is thought to be a continuum, that there is the past and there is the present, and then there is the future. It is a process. All experience within time is within what you will imagine as a sphere. You say that time is linear. Well, this happened a few days ago, and this will probably happen in the future. That happened in history a long time ago. The reason that you think time is linear is because within this beautiful sphere of creation, one point here and one point here, the points are connected by a line. So you say, okay, time is linear. That is the past. This is the future. And I'm somewhere in the middle of it. All time is in this sphere of belief. Now that brings up a very good question. What is outside of that sphere? What is outside of time? There is much that is outside of time. You do not see that usually in the lifetime where you are focused upon what the body does. What is a month? It is an arbitrary setting aside of a certain collection of time, man-made. You have not always had the same calendar. You have not always felt that time was the same as it is every day. You create it. You work within it. For example, if you try to get everybody to come at the same time and meet with each other and do certain things together, then find out that there is one person or more who cannot do it at that time, and say, okay, we'll change it. Then there's another person who cannot do it at that time. Okay, and you have fun with it, I hope. Not always, as I watch. It can be a bit mind-expanding. Yes, judgment expanding. You work with time, but as I have said, time is of your making. You know this to be true, because sometimes you have played with time. For example, you are supposed to be at a meeting by 7 o'clock, and there is no way you are going to leave home and drive for 20 minutes and get there by 7 o'clock if you have left home at 5 minutes until 7. But it can be done, and you have done it. You have surprised yourself and said, well, what happened? It proves to you that you are the one creating time. You are wonderful creators. Allow yourself to look upon everything that you create and call it good. That is why you have the passage in your holy book that says that God, which is you, created on the first day, the second day, the third day, and so forth, and he, which is actually a she, or an it, looked upon it and called it good. Call everything in your experience good. You have many who watch you. You have many who listen to what you have to say. Maybe they hear only one word, but it may be the right and perfect catalyst for their awakening, for their understanding that they are much more than just the body. You do not have to know what they hear, but you do it all the time. It is a gift that you give freely, and it is accepted by ones who are looking for that exact gift. Oftentimes you walk on and have no idea what you just did, and you do not have to know. You are very much the teacher, the master, the lover who gives love just by being, just by smiling. And you say, well, yes, the smile is not really that big a gift, but yes, it is. It can change a person's day. It can change their lifetime because you smiled. It makes a difference. And when you get to the end of a certain lifetime, your friends remember your smile, your support, your love, and they will say, that was a life well lived. So be it.